Chapter 11. To my esteemed fifth grade students, thank you for putting up with my Whistler experiment. Your class met the challenge faster than most. I was waiting for someone to point out the error of my ways. I'd like to make it clear that I found zero scientific research about whistling relating to intelligence. I wanted to pick something completely meaningless and link it to a preferential treatment. As you all know from our history lessons, people not always have been treated equally. Our task is to learn the lessons from our past so we don't repeat the same mistakes, and to speak up when we see an injustice. Current social issues will be the focus of our next unit. I expect you will all rise to the challenge before we begin. However, I believe we have some repair work to do. I would like each of you to write at least 2 letters to people in this class. I hope that this will build bridges. Please include at least 1 affirmation in each letter. An affirmation is something nice. For example, I'd like to affirm you all by saying that I appreciate you, your creative ideas, your distinct personalities, and the way you've embraced your class jobs and assignments. Sincerely, Miss Graham.
Dear Blake, do you want to hang out sometime? We could skateboard or something, or we could build something cool for the frog habitat. I think you're a great runner and artist. From Kai. Dear Kaylee, are we cool? So you know where I'm coming from. I don't like it when I see people get hurt feelings. Emily's all right. You all used to be friends, right? Seems like she shouldn't have to feel bad all the time. Your affirmation? I liked your relay race idea. From Kai.
Dear Aviva, I really miss the way we used to hang out and laugh about stuff. I'm not sure what happened. You will always be one of my best friends. From Emily. Dear Miss Graham, I love your frog decorations and I think you're a good teacher. Did you just happen to have all those frog decorations at home? Or are you buying them for our class? Did you like frogs before Kermit? I'm curious about this. From Emily.
Dear Kai, yes, we can skateboard or build something for Kermit. That'll be fun. Blake. Dear Kermit, I wish you could talk. I'd love to hear what you'd have to say. Affirmation, you're the most frogorific frog I've ever known. Henry. P.S. I made you a mailbox out of an empty tissue box. Seems only fair that you get letters too. Dear Kaylee, you run fast. Blake.
Dear Blake, thank you. I am a fast runner. So are you. You are a good artist. I think you should take professional drawing lessons. You had some good ideas for the egg off too. From Kaylee. Dear Kai, people don't have to stay friends with the same kids forever, you know. It is possible to move on. That's life. From Kaylee. P.S. We need to talk.
Dear Kaylee, when, where? From Kai.
Dear Kai, lunch recess tomorrow. From Kaylee.
Dear Kaylee, a true comedian needs to be able to make anyone laugh. At first, you never smiled, not even with my best material. But now, I get a smile like 25% of the time. My goal is to get it to 50% by the end of the year. Wish me luck. From Henry. Breathe. What do you think, Miss Graham? Blake.
Dear Emily, I'm sorry things have been so weird. I miss you too. From Aviva. Dear Henry, good luck. You'll need it if you think you're going to make me smile 50% of the time. You are funny, that's your affirmation, but in an irritating, itchy bug bite way. I don't laugh because I'm trying not to encourage you. From Kaylee. Dear Emily, I really liked eating lunch with you this year. You were one of those people who are always nice. From Sharon. Dear Blake, thank you for your drawing. It's perfect. I'd love it if you can sketch me a large one. Maybe on one of those extra poster boards. I'd like to hang it in the classroom as a reminder for everyone. Also, I just want you to know that I notice your kindness and caring for Kermit. I see you checking on the habitat, making sure there's clean water and food. Kermit appreciates you too. Sincerely, Miss Graham. Dear Kai, how do you read so fast? Every time I turn around, you are reading another book. Also, you're brave to stand up to Kaylee. From Cecilia.
Dear Blake, dude, you're the best artist ever in the history of the world. You're going to be famous. When you're a millionaire, remember I said that. Of course, I'm going to be a millionaire famous director too, so maybe we'll play golf or something. From Henry. Dear Henry, haha, dude. Can't wait to be rich. Blake.
Dear Sharon, I can't believe we've been at the same school since kindergarten and we've been eating lunch together since September, but we haven't ever really gotten together outside of school. Maybe we can hang out sometime. From Emily.
Dear Cecilia, my mom says I was born with a book in my hand. If you ever need a recommendation for a good read, let me know. From Kai.
Dear Emily, it's been a pleasure teaching you all, and I thank you for your interest in my extensive and rapidly growing collection of frog posters, socks, figurines, earrings, and decorative coffee cups. They are all new purchases for me, although I prefer to buy gently used when I can. Now I've got a classroom theme. Can you stay after school today? I've been meaning to find a time to chat with you. Sincerely, Miss Graham. Sharon. Not that I'm counting, but I got one letter in my box today. I wrote 6. Still, I have to say that Emily's letter is worth 1,000. Dear Emily, want to hang out on Friday after school? From Sharon. Emily. Status? Dear Hope, Miss Graham freaked me out today by having me stay after school, but all she wanted was to ask how things were going socially. Only what could I do? Tell Miss Graham what an awful person Kaylee had become? And about Aviva being a chameleon? No way. That'd feel like tattling. So I just sort of shrugged and said, this year's been different from what I thought, but that I was okay. She patted my back and just said, sometimes what we think we want doesn't wind up being what we actually want. It took me a moment to figure out what she meant, but then I got it. Exactly what happened with me and my table group. Now I'm glad I'm not sitting with Aviva and Kaylee. And she smiled and said her door was always open if I need to talk. And that was it. Love and luck, Emily. P.S. After Aviva and I sent letters to each other, I sort of thought things would change. But she's still not talking to me or hanging out with me at school. Maybe she only wants to be nice to me when Kaylee can't see. P.P.S. Sharon invited me over on Friday. I think I'll go. Why not?
Kai. Hey, Frog. I was stressing out when Kaylee confronted me about Blake's journal. I almost fessed up, and then I decided if I'm going to fess up, it should be to Blake, not her. Plus, there's no way she could know I took it on purpose. But then the guilt got to me. I wanted to own this, and I haven't yet, not really. I've got to find a way to make this right. Dear Blake, let's hang out at the park after school tomorrow. Bring your skateboard. I'm decorating the front of my journal with stripes because guess what? Our journals look exactly the same and I keep grabbing yours instead of mine. My bad. Won't happen again. From Kai. After I finished Blake's note, I felt much better. It didn't make it sound like a big deal or anything, and it really isn't. I can't wait to hang out. I'll stuff my backpack full of snacks. I've got homemade caramel corn. And let him take as much as he wants. Plus, the park is huge and sort of woodsy. I bet we could gather stuff for our habitat. Blake. Breathe. Stick with it. Keep up the good work.
Chapter 12. To my esteemed 5th grade students, We are moving toward our unit on current social issues. I'd like us all to stretch beyond our individual lives and look at the big picture. Today, your teams will begin discussing social issues. Each team will have 2 weeks to select a social issue as an area of focus for our next project. Think of something that matters to the world. Think about what kind of impact you'd like to have. If you had a magic wand, what would you change? I've broken down the steps to completing this long-term project. Step 1, pick a topic. Step 2, research it. Step 3, design some way to make a difference in your topic area. Step 4, present to the class. Keep in mind, even though you're kids now, you are the adults of tomorrow. You all can make a difference. Sincerely, Miss Graham.
Henry. Scene. Table groups brainstorming social issues. Henry's group is celebrating because they missed Henry so much during the Whistler experiment. Henry. Our team is back together again. I'm misty-eyed.
Blake.
Yeah, I know. It was weird being split up for that Whistler thing.
Henry.
Fist bump! Offering his hand. Kaylee not smiling. Shut up! Let's get to work.
Henry.
Man, you're good. I gotta work on my social skills. Hands still stretched out. Blake fist bumps Henry.
Kaylee.
Let's do women's rights. Henry. We have to pick a current issue, not one from the past.
Kaylee. Can you ever be serious?
Henry. I am being serious. Women can vote, right? They can have pretty much any job, fireman, policeman, soldier.
Aviva. Yeah, but listen to yourself. You just said fireman and policeman.
Blake. You want him to say firewoman and policewoman?
Aviva. I don't really care what he calls it. It shows that things are not totally equal.
Kaylee high fives Aviva.
Plus, all my dad's assistants are women and all the bosses are men. What's that about?
Blake. Our principal's a woman and our teacher's a woman. Henry. See? That's what I'm saying. What about global warming, gun control, animal rights, bullying?
Kaylee. There's a ton of issues that are important, but we have to pick one, right? And women's issues matter.
Henry. People eat fried frog legs, you know. So what about amphibian rights? How'd you like it if someone tried to fry up Kermit's legs?
Miss Graham leaning in. I can't help overhearing. I have to agree with Kaylee and Aviva that there are many current women's rights issues, both in this country and outside of it. Why don't you spend the rest of this period Googling some gender equality issues on the computer? After you have more information, your team can decide.
Henry, with sarcasm. Frogtastic.
Sharon. Every time Dad listens to the news, I hear about violence. Shootings and terrorist attacks, awful things that make me want to cover my ears and close my eyes. Is that because awful things are happening all the time? Or because violence makes exciting news? And regular peaceful stuff is too boring? Either way, there's too much of it. Kai suggests that our social issue be bullying. And all of a sudden, I realize that the violence I hear about is really just grown-up bullying in a different, more scary form. Kaylee. Dear Miss Graham, sometimes I'm glad I'll be in an all-girls school next year. My mother thinks I'll get more personal attention and it'll be easier for me to focus without the distraction of boys around. I agree. I tell her that boys are always fidgeting and asking dumb questions the teacher already covered. Miss Graham, you suggested looking at other countries too. What about those places where young girls get forced into arranged marriages? This is a great topic. We're going to rock this project and get an A+++. Although there is one major problem, Blake Benson spends all his time drawing. He can hardly write. If he makes us get a B, my parents will have a fit. You don't want that, do you? Dear Miss Graham, I'm all for group projects, but I think we should each be graded individually. Some of us work harder than others. Please consider this. Kaylee. Blake. Aviva. Date October 30th. During computer time, I Googled the words gender equality and gender inequality. So much information came up that I didn't know where to start. I made a list. Actresses make a ton of money when they're young, but when they get wrinkly and saggy, they can't get good parts. Guy actors get paid a ton even when they're old. Look at Zac Efron. He still gets good parts and he's super old. The US has had 45 male presidents. And how many women presidents? 0? What is that about? US women aren't guaranteed paid time off from work after they have a baby. Out of 185 countries, the US is one of just 3 that doesn't guarantee this kind of paid time off. That's why Ima quit her job when I was born. Paying for daycare or babysitter cost almost as much as she earned. And then I found info from other countries that I can hardly believe, like women not being able to pick who they marry, and women not having equal rights if they get divorced, like not being allowed to dance in public. Like in some countries, girls aren't allowed to go to school. Some sneak away to secret schools, but they're putting their lives at risk to do so. Miss Graham asked us what we'd do if we had a magic wand. End hunger and war, that's for sure. World peace? And I'd fix this thing with Emily. Tomorrow's Halloween, and this is the first year we won't be trick-or-treating together. Thinking about that gives me a sick feeling in my stomach, and I know the candy won't even taste good this year. The other day I saw Emily's mom at the grocery store. She waved at me all friendly like she always did before, and I wanted to shrivel up to the size of a raisin. I thought she'd be angry with me for ditching her daughter. I'm angry with me. Cecilia. Hola, Abuelita. Usually I let my thoughts spin tornadoes in my mind, but I keep them inside my mouth. Today, Kai asked me what topic I wanted to pick. This time, my idea was right on the edge of my lips, and I let it spill out. Poverty. People being homeless. I shared about how Prima Maria, Mommy, and I wrapped Christmas gifts at the Sacred Heart homeless shelter in the city. We help deliver them, and every year I'm surprised at how many children and families live there, even kids our age. Last year I talked to one of the little girls, and she said they'd lost their apartment when her mom had an accident and couldn't work for a few months. She was so sweet. I still think about her and wish I could have done more to help her. I hate that people have to live in poverty. How many people live right on that edge, where one accident or a lost job can push them into homelessness? I asked Mommy if that could ever happen to us, but she said because her Prima Maria lives near, we'd help each other out. Wow, I talked a lot. I probably said more in this conversation than I normally do in a week. Kai and Emily and Sharon looked at each other, and for the first time in my life, other kids chose my idea. It felt pretty awesome. Words to practice. Poverty. Pobreza. Homeless. Sin hogar. Tornado. Tornado. Don't you love it when words translate exactly? It's like a freebie. Besos y abrazos. Cecilia.
Kai. Hey, Frog. I'm so glad we picked Cecilia's idea. She's so quiet it's easy to miss her, but today I noticed her eyes get sparkly when she talks. Wait, I don't like girls yet. Yes, I do. A little. Partly because I wanted to stop thinking about Cecilia, I brought Kermit to my table today, and we blocked off a little area so he could jump around. When Cecilia was talking about the homeless shelter, I kept thinking about Blake Benson. He may not be in the same situation as the people Cecilia was talking about, but I'm guessing things aren't easy for him. We played some b-ball and skateboarded yesterday after school for 2 hours. He's pretty good. Better than me, at least. He showed me how to ollie and grind, and I showed him my behind-the-back Rubik's Cube trick and gave him a stack of oatmeal raisin cookies. Blake didn't say anything about home, but it was good times, you know. I think we'll do it again on Friday, and I asked him if he wanted to trick-or-treat with me. It's my tradition to dress up as a different Harry Potter character each year, even though I'm a little old for that. This year I'm going as Dumbledore, but I told Blake I have a Snape or a Harry costume he can borrow, just in case he doesn't have one. Blake, October.